Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a makeup tutorial, which I had to throw all my braids into this bun, into this wig cap, so that was interesting. And so this is going to be difficult for me because of the fact that, the location right now is because of, well, not the best place to have this stuff, but alright. So first what we use is I use Master Fix by Face Studios. Now what I do is I usually spray my entire face with, because I don't use moisturizer. I usually use this as a base and then start from there. And now I use Dark Cocoa from Dream Matte Mousse by Maybelline. And do a couple dabs of that just to get it on there. Scoop, make sure it doesn't get on like the point so you don't have extra foundation. And then now I'm going to contour, and I use 3D Face Creator. And this I've gotten from the beauty supply right down the street. And I'm going to use this dark shade right here. And I usually use one of these brushes. And this is by Magic Collection. It's a cheap one that you can get from like Walgreens or any store. And I use that to apply the foundation that I want to be darker so that it pops out more later. So first I'm going to go now applying some more. I add it right where you want to lift the cheekbones and kind of contour that area right here. I usually suck in so you can see where you should apply. Now I dip more into that shade here. I'm going to add Color Stay Concealer by L'Oreal, or Revlon I mean. And I put this in the areas that I want to highlight. Now, I have to dip a few times because this product, since it's cheaper, it's you need to apply just a little bit more to highlight what you want to highlight. Like me, I don't normally use this, but I thought for this tutorial, I would use it. And see, the difference, because I know how some people like to use concealer to hide the things that they want to hide, and I think it'll be interesting doing it for you guys today. Alright, and now I'm going to apply it onto my nose, chin, and upper lip and forehead. Now I try with one of these ankle brushes, which most people use for like eyeshadow. I'm going to dip back into this shade here and apply it to my nose to contour that. Now that is usually the hardest part for some people because it's the angle you're trying to get. Now what I do is I try to get the light in where I want it and then angle the brush in that direction. And then it darkens that area that you want to be darkened and keeps the parts that you want light. Now I usually do this before powder because some people like to set their highlights first. I prefer to do the nose first and then work on everything else. Alright, now we're going to set our face, and what I usually use is I use Banana Power by Luxury Powder. And this is by Beignet. I guess that's how you say it. Now, what I usually do is I pour some of it into an empty powder case, pressed powder case from like Walgreens or something. And then I use a different one that I use just for powders. And I apply that to the areas that I need to set, that are highlights. And I usually do that first with banana powder, and then I use a white pressing powder on top of it so that it extra highlights that area for me. Alright, here we go. Add some more powder. If I seem a little absent-minded, it's because I was playing this game on the PS4 called Until Dawn. So I've kind of got like horror movie stuff going on in my head right now, which I'm trying to like totally evade. And now we'll set the lower half, and then I'll do the rest off camera. And Until Dark is basically a horror movie scenario game where you basically, it's a butterfly effect. Everything you do has a cause and effect. I'm cheating right now because I'm using the internet YouTube in order to... Now I apply my Revlon Color Stay in the color Translucent. Now, this is more of a white for me because I don't know why. It just sets that way. So, now applying this to over what I've already done. Gotta apply a little bit more because you have to have the whole thing covered, in my opinion, so that it actually pats into the areas that you want it to instead of just kind of glossing over. Alright, and last is the forehead. Now, what I do with the highlight on my nose, I usually take a little bit of this onto the tip of the makeup sponge, blending sponge. And I usually tap it on the tip of my nose and gradually go upward. And then you do it again with the translucent powder on top. And then you have your highlighted nose and slim down. I'm taking one of these thin powder brushes, which people use for eyeshadow, and I'm going to dip into a dark eyeshadow lightly so that it can darken the areas I want it to darken without applying too much. So I'm going to be doing this to my nose contour and moving it up towards my eyes. And then I'm going to use that for the crease because then you can gradually blend it out. So what I do is I start from up here and work right where I have that previous contour, and it shades out, up and out. See? Defined. And now we're going to do that once more. Lightly tap it into, and I use CoverGirl True Naked palette, and I use the darkest shade here, and I apply some onto the brush like so. Tap it, get all that excess off so it's not as harsh as you want it. I usually dab it onto my skin so that it's still not as harsh, and then I apply. Now, if it still looks harsh, what I do is I take one of those contour palettes and I take the lightest shade of brown, and then I apply it onto the nose to blend out that darkness. If it's too dark for you, you can always, after you do your setting powder to set the entire face, you can also, it will also lighten the area up. So regardless, you'll be lightening the area up. With that all done, now we're going to set our face. Well, I set my face with Airspun Loose Face Powder and Translucent Extra Coverage 07D-41. Now, I will put this down in the description below, everything I'm using, so that if you want to check these things out, you can with no problem. You can just go to your local drugstore and get them without a problem. These you can get at Walgreens, really cheap. Alright, so I tip it over, apply, and then what you do is, I made a little mess here, so what you do is you dab it in here, get some of that powder on there. Now you can come out looking like a clown for a little bit, but bear with me, okay? I find Swift Motions applies it everywhere really quickly so they all sets at the same time and dries at the same time. And last, we do the neck. I will do that off camera and I'll be right back. Now, I'm going to do my eyes, and I am going to use the Perfect 10 palette by Soap and Glory, which you can also get from any Walgreens or probably Jewel if you're lucky, or Meijer, or whatever is close by you. This is a very good brand. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to use the shade Damsel, and let's see, and Copper. Alright, so here we go. Now I'm going to use that same brush we used earlier, and I'm going to dip it into the Damsel shade, which is right here. And we're going to apply it to the eyelid. And we're going to just gradually work it this way. Now we're going to do the same with the other eye. Now I'm going to add just a little bit more so that it really gets that pigment in there. Now, I insist you keep the makeup the powder that you use to set your face, you leave it on so that when you're done with your eyes, you can just brush it off and then do your, and then when you're doing the additional stuff, you can have your face baking with the whatever powder you prefer. Now, before we start baking, we're going to contour the face. I bet you were probably wondering when I was going to get to that. And what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a light blush brush and dip lightly into that dark shade from the True Naked palette. And let's get started. Now, if you feel like it's a harsh line at first, don't forget we're going to go over it with additional bronzers, blushes, and stuff like that in order to blend that out completely. Right now, we just want to define that area. Okay? And then go in. Now, we're going to contour this area in a shade. Now, I in particularly like using this brush and dipping back into the contour palette into that lighter shade. You want to lighten up. Now, before you continue doing your face, you want to use that same powder sponge, and you want to use that on to bake your face. Now, at this point, you should have, with it being dry, it will powder onto there pack onto there instead of just going into the foundation. So, and that's what you want. You want it to actually go on top of the foundation instead of in it, so that you can really lighten up that area. Like, you want to pack it on there so that it can actually highlight that area while you're doing the other things you're doing. Now you do the other area. See, not everybody can have, surgery right away. So, you know, some people can be male and had surgery and just do drag, and then there's some people that, you know, do surgery to be, to transition and have the money for it. I don't, so I do this. Now, add a little bit more and get the under part of my face, because some people say some people say that you should probably, not do this area so that this point of your face is more defined. And I think that's kind of true, but it's something I don't do. Mostly because I try to have this whole area chiseled out, to be equal to each other. But, to each their own, I guess. And now I'm going to do this way. Like that. And then I'm going to do the opposite side of my face. Alright, and with that done, I'm going to now do the forehead area. And I will do that off camera. Alright, now while this is all baking, I did my forehead and my nose. So while that's all baking, you can initially work on the rest of your eyes. So what I want to do is I'm going to use a darker purple from a different palette, which, honey, I don't know what it is because it doesn't have the top anymore. Don't know where it is, don't care. So I'm going to use a dark purple right here. And it's like a purplish blue. Tap off the excess. And then I'm going to help define this brow bone. See? You can really see that purple in there. Now I'm going to take a pink from a different palette, which is called Wet n Wild. The Wet n Wild palette. And I'm going to use the same brush again, and I'm going to put this over the initial shade we did earlier so that we can get a darker color of pink. Now, the color I used earlier was Damsel, so we're going to do this pink over it, and then we're going to do Damsel back over it. So, to really define that area and really show these colors. I call this shade Bubblegum Pink. Alright, now I'm going to apply Damsel back on it off camera, and I'll be right back. Now I applied Damsel on top of it, so now I'm going to get from NYX, and I'm going to apply Electro. It's in the shade HDB24. It's this very electric pink. I'm going to apply that to my eye so that it really brings out that extra color. And I'm going to put that towards the end of my eyelid. And now I'm going to do the same to the other eye. And there you go. So now while you were doing all that, your face should have set pretty easily. Now what I use is a very brown blush. And this usually, if I really get it on there, can lighten up the contour area. Now what I use is a very brown blush. And this usually, if I really get it on there, can lighten up the contour area. Now by Soap and Glory, I've already applied Love at First Blush highlight onto my cheeks. Now I usually apply a little bit more, so I'll do that for you on camera to really get that highlight. And then a little on my forehead, so that, you know, the attention drawn to the center of my forehead instead of like the bulbous part of my forehead, which initially gets covered up by hair. And then we're going to wipe off any leftover shadow from your eyes. And we're going to now apply the Love at First Blush and apply that to both the eyebrow area and the nose area. See right there, center of the nose. Then I usually do like right above the lip. Using one of these thin eyebrow brushes, I'm going to dip into one of my liquid brows, and I'm going to basically start from where my actual brows are and go outward to where I would like them to be, because I keep mine shaven so that I can draw them wherever I want. And that's the finished product. So I hope you guys liked my tutorial. If you did, don't forget to the like button, hit that doorbell so you can get a notification every time I upload a new video. And if you're watching my videos, why aren't you subscribing? So hit that subscribe button, comment down below, let me know if you want me to do any more tutorials like this, and I will. And you can tell me if there's any different styles you would like me to do, or maybe a quick makeup review or something for you guys. So just let me know down in the comment section below, or hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat. Alright, bye. Alright, now that we're back, I usually use Rebel London, I don't even know how to pronounce this, but I usually use this lip proof color, which is a dark red, which is 16HR, called Kiss Proof. And this I usually use, and I spread it onto my lips. It works whether your lips are chapped or not chapped, so, you know, I didn't really plan this out correctly, so here we go. So I thought instead of doing them off camera, I'd do them on camera for you and show you how I put my lashes on. Now I use weave glue in order to put these on. Most drag queens do, most trans people may do it. I don't know. I know a lot of black people do it. But I do it so that they stay on longer. So like if I'm doing a bunch of videos, I can have them on the entire time and then take them right off. If you do them, put them on correctly, you don't have to worry about them snatching the lashes out. Alright, so here we go. It's a little more difficult doing this on camera because I normally do these off camera. So. And that's the finished product. So I hope you guys liked my tutorial. If you did, don't forget to push the like button, hit that doorbell so you can get a notification every time I upload a new video. And if you're watching my videos, why aren't you subscribing? So hit that subscribe button, comment down below, let me know if you want me to do any more tutorials like this, and I will. And you can tell me if there's any different styles you would like me to do, or maybe a quick makeup review or something for you guys. So just let me know down in the comment section below, or hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat. Alright, bye.